So the first question is basically just how did you get into music production in the first place?
Um, Good question. I was always like vibing to music since I was a kid. Even if I was playing video games, which I did a lot, I was always more focused on the soundtrack than the game itself.
Okay.
Like even when I played like games on the Game Boy Advance and stuff, I would even plug in like earphones and just listen to the music playing while I was doing something else. I know it sounds ridiculous, but yeah, that's like the way I got in touch with music at first. And then my dad, he used to work for the radio, so he introduced me to 80s music, which is up till today like my favorite genre.
Okay.
Um, and then I started listening to Avicii, Swedish House Mafia, like tracks that were very melodic,
Yeah.
had a lot of emotional value, and at some point I was like, Jesus Christ, I really want to do something with music. Like it makes me feel good, it makes me feel happy, and I want to like mean something to the world as well. So yeah, that's how I started.
Fuck yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. You said that was your favorite that's your favorite music to listen to now is 80s music?
Yeah, it is.
That's awesome. That's really fucking cool. Like I haven't heard that. Oh, I'm gonna write stuff down too, by the way, in case you're wondering what I'm doing.
Yeah,
But
sure, sure.
yeah. No, that's really fucking cool. Um, so were your loved ones like in your family very supportive of you starting to make music?
No, not really. My parents didn't really like me making music at all. They were always telling me that I should just focus on school. Like they didn't really support me having any hobby really. So I kind of had to do that myself. Like they didn't want to purchase any keyboard, synthesizers, drums, or whatever. Like I really, really, really wanted to play an instrument, but they were like, no, like it's a waste of time. Like in the real world, as a musician, like you won't get paid, you won't like have a stable income and all that. So they kind of forced me in a direction where I couldn't really do music. So I had to like take some jobs since I was 16 to get some money to buy my first like DJ controller and my software. And yeah, that was like a major setback, which costed me a couple of years. But aside of that, I mean, I have friends supporting me, so that's the that's been a big factor for me to keep me going.
Fuck yeah, yeah. Well, that they're coming around, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's good. Oh my gosh. No. Well, that must be really hard on you. How does that affect you in making music with your family not being as supportive as you would like?
Um, at first it was really hard. Like I wanted to show my parents my music and everything, and they would like my mom would not even listen to it. My dad at best would give me like a like or it's good or whatever. But like
Oh,
not even listening. It's like yeah, it's good, but when are you gonna do this or that or blah blah. So like yeah, it was hard. It still is at some point. If a track is doing well or I have something which I think is really cool and I want to show them, and I just see that they don't really give a shit at all, well, it's hard to deal with sometimes.
I bet. It sounds really fucking hard. That is very aggravating, but hopefully you're going to show them by just doing it. You're going to
Yeah,
make a difference just like how you are already doing, and they're going to see it eventually, hopefully. And if they never
exactly. Yeah.
do, I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but it's not necessarily your problem anymore, you know? It
Mm-hmm.
goes
That's
it
true.
goes to them, and it's like, damn, well, we weren't supportive of our child, and that sucks. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, of course, that's always sad to say. But I
Mm-hmm.
hope it gets better as always.
Mm-hmm.
So is music a passion for you? Like, do you want to be 50 years old making music still?
Yeah, for sure. Making music is the most important part of being an artist for me. Like I love performing live and doing my own shows. but like the producing part itself and like working with vocalists coming up with ideas and melodies and putting emotion into it is for me like the biggest passion or like the biggest aspect of being an artist. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. I agree. I agree completely. I mean, that's why if I add a song to my playlist, it's because of the emotion that comes with it, you know? So
Hmm.
I completely understand that. And I mean that would be pretty cool if you're 50 years old, still touching people, like not touching people, that sounds weird.
Hmm.
Making a difference. But yeah, that's awesome. Fuck yes.
Maybe you could name like if you upload the video later, you could like name it "Touching People with Foxa" or something. I don't
Oh, touching people with Foxa. Holy shit. That's so fucking
know.
funny. Is when it comes to producing and stuff like that, is having a social life important? Whether it be connections with, the industry people, or just having
Hmm.
people to talk to in general as support, as like friends and stuff. I mean, is
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, it certainly does help. I know like going outside and stuff is very important. You tend to lock yourself up a lot because you're working on music. You're like, oh, I have so many deadlines and everything. But in my opinion, it's very important to both like not get burned out and to keep getting those ideas coming. And on the other hand, important to like stay healthy. To have some daily exercise or at least to see some sunlight,
Yeah.
and just like you say, like connections with people in the music industry. It's both good for your own brand as people will connect with you, get to know you, um, and the human aspect itself is more important than people would think. Like there's a lot of emailing, a lot of talking on Facebook and all that, but sometimes like you forget that you're working with actual people, so it's definitely good to like connect in real.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome. And whenever you're talking to people in the industry, how do you act? Do you Oh, thank you for the host, Invisible Moon. I appreciate you, my dude. Um yeah, how do you act? Like how do you come off genuine but still get to the point?
I usually don't overthink that, and I just talk to everyone in like the same way. So I'm a bit of a wacko, like I'm just very open and talkative. So I just talk to everyone in the same way.
Got it.
Even
No, that's
whether
awesome.
if it's someone like really big in the industry or whatever, I'm not just gonna be there only saying what they want to hear or like pretend that I'm more of a business classy guy than I am or whatever. Like I'm just gonna be myself.
Fuck yeah, dude! I love that. Yeah, and for some people, it's hard for me to understand why that's hard for some people, but it is because I'm the same. I think the same way as you. Is like I'm just gonna be myself and hope that that's enough. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But I mean, for other people, it's just like they're gonna have an aneurysm if they have to pretend to be so freaking weird. But so whenever you're making music, this happens a lot for a lot of artists. People get writer's block. They get stuck and they don't know what to make. How do you deal with that?
Luckily, I haven't struggled with writer's block that often. If I do, like I get a lot of collab requests, so I could hop on those, and it could help because there's already like a core of the track um, in FL Studio or whatever, and like you can work from there, and then ideas start popping in your head. And if I have to start from scratch and I'm like struggling with writer's block, I tend to just, like I said before, like go for a walk or even go hiking or go like take the car and take like a weekend off. I drive to, for example, Rotterdam in the Netherlands, and
Yeah.
yeah, just chill a bit at night, like by the bridge or the water, and just let the ideas not even focus on music, but usually I get inspired from that.
That sounds so peaceful and amazing. And is it pretty when you go?
It is for sure, yeah. But right now
Oh,
it's kind of hard because like nighttime is the best time for me to go for a walk or like sit by the sea or beach or whatever because there's like no one in places that are usually crowded, and it
yeah,
creates like a certain atmosphere and peace in like a place that's still, how to say, like the center of Antwerp, for example, where I live. It's
yeah.
very crowded, and at night you have like these famous places and these very cultural places that are usually filled with people, and there's like no one, and it has this very creative atmosphere because there's a lot of movement over day. There's a lot of people, like street musicians and everything. So at night when you're walking, you're like still feeling the vibe there, even though there's no one, and it kind of stimulates your, I don't know, your creativity a lot.
Wow, I bet. That just sounds so beautiful. I'm on my way right now to the Netherlands. We're going. Oh my God, that just sounds absolutely beautiful. I would love that with like a foot massage. Like, oh hell yeah. So many producers starting out, they get rejected by labels like a lot, like their tracks and stuff like that.
Hmm.
What advice would you give to that person or that person that's really struggling?
Um, if you're like getting rejected a lot, um, first things first is like you're still a small artist, so you're gonna get rejected a lot simply because labels. It's sad to say this, but labels are often kind of focused on the clout that they can get from someone. They're like, oh, this guy already has, let's say, like 50,000 followers or whatever. He already has a community. Like they would rather sign a guy who has like a lot of followers with average music than they would sign like um, someone who didn't make a name for himself yet, but is a very good producer, simply because it's easier for them to brand it. Um, so you have to kind of make sure two aspects are, how to say it, like both the popularity thing and the music itself are like a factor. So at that point, you have to think like, is my production good enough? Did they actually reply about the music itself, or are they just not replying at all? Usually, if they're not replying at all, like they don't even bother because your name's not big enough. If they're like, yo, you have to change this, or like quality wise, the track is not there yet. At that point, I would kind of refrain from sending it to a lot of labels and just focus like on connecting with other producers, um, watching some YouTube videos, trying to get better at sound design, mixing, mastering, all that, and like taking a step back and not pushing yourself too much in finding a label, but like focusing on the bigger picture and on the long run. Like you want to succeed in the end. So if it's gonna take a while. It's a long process. Like I'm not there yet either. I'm working my way towards it. But yeah, it's important to take a step back to relax and to keep working on the sound itself.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. I think that's why people have asked me a lot if I make music, and I don't want to start making music until I have the basics down, until I can, mix to the level I want to, or like, the sound design is good, or whatever the case may be. I want to get all the basics good and ready to go, and then I'll start making music. But I feel like a lot of people don't think like that. They just jump
Mm-hmm.
right into it, not really knowing anything, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's going to take so
Mm-hmm.
much longer. So much longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a huge plus, I think, if you're not a big artist yet, if you want to call it that way, is like finding vocalists to work with. Like they're very easy to approach most of the time. They're always looking for instrumentals. And if a label is like, okay, like this guy's not that known yet, that well known yet, but like it's a pack vocal that they've heard a million times. If they hear like a track with an original vocal that's like very catchy, they're like, okay, like this is at least an original vocal because 99% of the demos they get will be like sample vocals or like back vocals. They'll be like, okay, this one's interesting to release. So I think that's a very good way like stand out from the pack is like this is a collab with like an actual featuring, like an actual vocalist on it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I
Like
agree.
it adds emotional value. It's like an extra melody for your tune. It's like it has that sing along potential as well. So it's gonna elevate your track like to new levels on like yeah, a lot of criteria.
Hell yeah. There's so many things to keep track of and to take notice of as well. It's just absolutely crazy about how many things there are, but one step at a time, they will all come together.
Hmm.
Hopefully. Is it harmful to work with labels that like say they when they do reply, they kind of think like, hey, you should go in a different direction with your music. What is your opinion on that?
It can be for sure if you're
Yeah.
signing an exclusive deal. For example, let's say a label contacts you saying, "Yeah, we want to release you, but only if you're doing like 10 tracks with us," for example. And you're like reading the contract and you see like during this period, it's like not even written out like what the time frame is. So if you're like, okay, 10 tracks with these guys, like they're big or they're good, like let's do it. So you sign it, and then your first track comes out, and it maybe let's say it does well. For the next one, you're gonna be like, "Yo, I really want to release this," and they're like, "Nah, like we don't like it." So you're like forced to like do 9 more tracks with them. You see where I'm going? Like it's gonna
Yeah.
take you a long time to get out of that deal. So if you do make the deal, you want to make sure that one, you can stay true to yourself and like to your genre. Like I made the mistake of signing and then like being stuck in pop genre, even though I prefer making house or like some kind of progressive future house, you're just gonna be like a dead artist on a lot of platforms, which is very, very sad. And like the
Yeah.
bigger labels don't really care because you're just one of the pack that they're releasing. Like, so
Yeah, that
sometimes I
is
do
so
think
sad.
it's better to find like a young team of like genuinely like really interested people that are like working their way up, maybe not that big yet. Like in the past I've started with Future House Cloud, for example, and they weren't that big yet, but they were these like really nice guys from Germany. Like they were young people motivated with a dream and stuff.
Aw.
And right now, like they're one of the biggest guys in the industry in like the future house genre and everything. And
Yeah.
it's basically because they're so motivated, and even the smaller artists, like they're working on every single release, and they're trying to push every single release, even if it's like a small artist. And that, in my opinion, is worth more than just being like, yeah, this really big label wants to sign me, you know? Like, let's go for an exclusive 10 track deal. And then, I mean, yeah, like they don't care about you. So, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It really is dangerous.
Yeah, damn. No, that's like really fucking sad because like the way you said it was like perfectly explained to me because I totally understand it a lot better than I did, and that is really sad. Um, but what you said with the German people, I don't really know how to say that, but
Uh
um,
huh.
so you would say, are there any good labels that are actually genuine that are kind of big? Are there any, or are they all just shitty?
Yeah, there are any, but I mean, it's hard to say. I think it's important to talk with other artists that have signed there, or to at least make sure you can actually have like a human conversation with A&Rs and managers of the label and stuff, instead of like it's all gonna be how to say it. Everyone's of course gonna present their brand as credible, as good for you as an artist, and blah blah. And everyone's gonna be feel everyone's gonna feel like as a trustworthy person, they're like trying to um, how to say it, like get you to believe in them, like sign with them and stuff. So it's hard to say if a label is actually um, wanting you to succeed and not just there to like make money from the things you're releasing with them, or to like claim you and be like, haha, like we got this artist, like look at us, you know.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say. Like even for me, the places I've signed, there's a few that I could name that are actually like very, very good people to release with, and then there's others that are like a little shady. But of course, it's hard for me to say that out loud. But yeah, there's definitely a few fishy labels and stuff out there, especially when it comes to payments and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, it's nice
Yeah.
to know that there's actually, decent labels out there. Because, I hear so much negativity about labels that now it's in my head. It's like, I mean, are there any good ones? But it's refreshing to hear you say that. So
Yeah, for
there
sure.
are. So you want to tell me a little bit about Brooks and, how he supported you and stuff?
Oh yeah, that was actually crazy. I think it was back in 2018 or something, maybe even 17. Like I've basically just sent him my music, and I was like, "Yo, what are the odds that he's actually gonna reply to this and stuff?" And then he was like, "Yo, cool track," and I saw on SoundCloud that he downloaded it. And then, like, I think a couple of days later, he had a live set on Slam FM, and I low-key saw my track in there and him like vibing to it. And I was like, "Oh, damn, this is really happening." And then I've seen him play that track. It was like one I released on Future House Music,
Yeah.
one of my first ones, and I've seen it being played at Ultra Music Festival. Like it was played at Tomorrowland. And there's this guy called Cascade. I think he's from the US, right? Like he's played it at it's like EDC, Las Vegas and stuff, Ultra Music as well. Like some really, really, really big festivals all over the world, and like seeing people go crazy to that music is like the best feeling ever.
I bet.
Especially because
No.
I was like still a very small artist then, and the fact that it was played like around the world was like damn. And I think it is because Brooks like featured it once, and then other big artists like noticed it, and that way like it really did travel across the world, which was like a dream come true and a bit unreal.
Oh, that's awesome. I bet that felt so fucking unreal. I mean, obviously, I'm not able to imagine the exact feeling you had, but, something that you created, like being, I don't know, your child or something like that. Um,
Hmm.
I bet. That's like fucking crazy. Holy shit, we're halfway done. I can't believe it. We're making great time, my dude. Great time. I mean, I always try to make great time. That's how I always do things because organization is like big in my head. Oh my gosh. So, do you want to tell me a little bit about your Amsterdam trip?
Yeah, sure. The Amsterdam trip itself. Do you mean like the ones where I just go and chill and hang out and stuff, or like the trip I made to ADE, like Amsterdam Dance
Yes.
Event?
Yes. That one. Yeah,
The
yeah.
dance event one. Okay. So back then I was still signed with Encore Agency, with a guy called Camille. Like he was my manager. He was a really, really nice guy, and he taught me a lot about the industry. He helped me forward a lot. And basically, at ADE, I was there with Refetchi, which is a producer from Denmark. First, he stayed over at my place. Then we went to chill in Rotterdam, like the place I mentioned, with the bridge and everything. And I was like showing him where I got rid of writer's block, where I went to chill. There was also this guy called Eric from the UK. Like we were randomly booking a hotel as three. Like we've never seen each other in real. We just had a good vibe going online and stuff. And then we were like, "Yo, let's just go to ADE together." And we did. And we shared a room. And then we've been to all these events. I've met like a lot of my idols. I've had a talk with Brooks there. Then
Oh.
there was my remix for Brooks, David Guetta, and Martin Garrix, like actually being played by Martin Garrix at his show in ADE, which
Ooh,
was. Yeah,
yes.
but here's the sad part. So like Martin Garrix and Brooks were playing there back to back for a bit, And I was like, yo, I really gotta go to the toilet. So I went to the toilet and I was like walking out of the toilet and the refugee was like, yo, like they're playing your remix. And I'm like, what? I was like just coming out of the toilet. I was like, oh no, you're not serious. And then, yeah, it was funny because
Oh,
all up until that point, I was like standing like front line, and I went to the toilet, and that's when my remix got played. I was like, "Oh no! Like, are you serious?" Damn,
holy shit. Well, I
unlucky.
mean,
But
did you get to hear some of it still?
yeah. Like the last part. So
Oh my gosh.
it was it was still funny that he went to come and get me then. But yeah, I mean, we've been to a lot of shows. I've been to a lot of master classes as well, like a DJ master class from Laidback Luke. I've went to a producer master class from Kashmir, who was also talking about writer's block, and then like contacting labels, like what should you do to improve your music, how should you contact vocalists and stuff like that. So all very, very, very interesting. I've learned a lot from it, and yeah, I've met people from all over the world, even like vocalists I've worked with. It's kind of weird. So you're like release tracks with people that you haven't physically met, and then in Amsterdam you're like seeing everyone, and everyone's there, and it's just so weird. It's like, oh hey, like this is Myra, like the singer from Sweden, and then Anna, like a singer from Los Angeles that I've worked with, and they're all there. Like it's just weird to be like physically together out of nowhere. And
Yeah.
it's a great feeling though to be partying with like people that share your view, that go like through the same daily struggles as you do, like label rejection, everything. Yeah, super
That
special vibe.
that is very awesome. I mean, that you're making it sound so awesome that I wish I could experience that. But that's really fucking cool. So, I was told by a friend of mine and on your Instagram, of course. I mean it's obvious. So that you love to do fitness. Please tell me more about that.
Yeah.
That's really fucking cool.
Well, back when I went to Amsterdam and I started producing and stuff, I also enjoyed eating a lot, which caused me to gain a lot of weight because I was lazy, but I was often like very, very tired. Just because like I woke up, I was making music, I stayed in my room. Even like making food and all that, like I was just so tired, like working full time. And I was gaining weight. My physique got like much worse. And at some point, I looked in the mirror. I'm like, dude, like you look exhausted without doing a single thing. Like I've actually felt super depressed at that time. And music wise, I was doing really good, but then like physically, mentally, like I wasn't really there. And at some point, I woke up. I was like, yo, this shit has to change like right now. So I contacted a friend of mine who's like a personal trainer. I was like, look, there's dedication. I wanna like turn my life around. Like, can you help me? And he was like, yes, of course. So he worked out a plan with me, and I stuck to it from like day one. Uh, and then in 2 months and a half, I lost like 13 kilograms, I think. So it was like 6 out of 7 days a week that I would work out. I wasn't really focused on music at that time. Like I still made some, but mainly focused on getting like my mental and physical health back. And I went to gym like almost every day until April last year, and then because of Corona, like it kind of it kind of came to an end. I have my stuff at home, which I actually started yesterday again. Yay, finally! But
Yay.
I wasn't motivated to do anything at home because it's like different sweating in your like in your living room and stuff than like sweating at the gym. Like it's not the same feeling. You see all these other motivated people. Uh, it just feels right. Like sporting at home didn't always feel right. So yeah, I lost my motivation last year, but I kept my food. My food wasn't going out of hand like it used to. Um, So that's definitely been a big thing for me, like fitness and food. It definitely helps you if you have a healthy lifestyle to be able to produce longer, to basically feel better while you're producing and making music. And I can actually see it, um, how to say it, have an influence on my music even. That I'm making like happier melodies, happier tracks when I'm feeling good and when I'm like physically feeling well as well. So yeah.
Fuck yeah. Would you say that the tracks that you make with, mental and physical health come out way better than the ones before?
Um, Usually they do, but that it's definitely like the atmosphere. Like some of the music I made when I was feeling depressed or even like angry or something, I would actually end up making a different genre than I was intending to, or I made something very very dark. And like pure sound design wise, it could actually be really good, but it would be like it would have a completely different feel to it than the music I make when I'm happy. So it's not necessarily going to be worse, but it's not going to be as uplifting or as positive as the other music.
Gotcha, gotcha. They have their
Hmm.
own qualities from each other.
Yeah.
Love that. I love that. Learning different sides of yourself are always. I tell people that is a must. You have to understand all different sides of yourself. So that's really
Hmm.
freaking cool. I love that. My gosh. So, what advice would you give somebody that wants to start working out and working on their mental health? What about a diet? I mean,
Um,
or workout regimen, either one.
it's very important that you're willing to spend enough time on it. Like you don't even need a lot of time to make it work. Um, you could work out like 30 minutes for 3 days a week, and it could be enough if you combine it with a healthy diet. With a healthy diet, I don't necessarily mean going like super super extreme, like not eating anything or like not granting yourself like a snack or whatever. But it's more like yeah, not eating like excessively, like super super big meals and being like, yeah, I'm like so full, but this is so good, so I'm gonna eat like 3 or 4 more plates. You know what I mean? Like like your portions are very important. It takes like zero time to eat less. So I mean, just eat until you're full. Like kind of control your fat and all of that, and make sure like your calorie intake isn't super super big if you're trying to lose weight. Um, it's good to contact someone who's like a professional to make sure that you're gonna do it right, because it can be frustrating if you're committing to like working out and losing weight, and if you're not doing it right and you don't see a lot of progress, I can imagine that it's easy to give up. So definitely contact like a personal trainer or whatever. It might cost some money, but on the long run, it's definitely going to be worth it, because they can calculate like how to say it. They can come up with like a document where they're like, okay, you have several options. For example, day one, you eat this and that, and the calories are basically gonna add up to an amount which is good with the exercise you have, and yeah, about that, and then like I said, let's say like 30 minutes for like 3 or 4 days a week should be enough. So if you're willing to do that, uh, that's basically all you need. But the will has to be there. Like you have to give it 100%. Because if you give up like a couple of days a week, you're not gonna get there. So you really need that dedication. You gotta be like, okay, I'm a kill it, and not be like, yeah, like this might work or whatever. So you definitely, even if you feel bad, you just have to be like, I'm just gonna do it. Like even if you feel like really really bad, you're like, I can't imagine feeling worse. I'm just gonna do this, and see. It's a very very hard mindset to get out of, like depression and all of that. But I highly, highly recommend it, like working out, even if you're already in shape.
Fuck
Um,
yeah.
or even if you don't want to lose weight, like working out is a way to let go of frustrations, fears, anxiety, all that.
Yeah, and it would affect
Hmm.
on how you make music as well. Like once you work on yourself as much as you possibly can, and your music will come out even better. Or you
For
never
sure,
know.
yeah.
That will even get rid of writer's block for a lot of people. Like I mean,
Yeah.
I could see you being a personal trainer. I see a part-time personal trainer. Oh yeah,
I've actually thought about it, like in the future, if I've done it for like a long time, but I want to make sure that I have enough knowledge about it.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
My
No,
my
I totally get
main
that.
my main motivation would be to help people like in a correct way, a correct and proper way, not to just make money from it. Like I said before, not selling them like these how do you say, like training programs that other people made, like just copy paste it and be like, hey, like this is your personalized thing. Like that's like not how it works.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen those, and
Yeah.
I just don't agree. I mean, I've been trying to work out more, but I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a little hard. But I'll just do it in my house. I'll just like do use my body weight because I can't even lift my own body weight. So it's like I can just do normal things or like I'm not even gonna talk about it. It's a little embarrassing, but I do little things.
As long as you feel happy, like you know.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. It's always a good thing to be healthy. Whenever I eat a protein, a carb, and a veggie. Always,
Yeah, that's good. It's
somehow,
very
some
good.
way. Cause I mean that's what your body's craving, and I drink water. That is a big thing that people don't
It is.
understand in the U.S. I don't know where you're at. Do people drink water mostly?
No.
Oh, what do you
I
guys
know
drink?
in the US it's like crazy, like the people going like nuts on soda and everything, like but like mad. Like people here
Yeah.
drink like, still like see water as the basic stuff, and then like drink soda with meals and stuff, but like not soda like all day long, you know. So there's a difference in mindset. I've looked at the numbers for like people being obese and stuff in the US, for example. I think it was 2 out of 3 or something.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that soda is like cutting soda, or at least going like zero. That's what I'm doing, like Coke Zero all the time.
Yeah.
And that's like perfect because you won't get fat from drinking Coke Zero. It's actually part of my diet because I really like it.
Oh
Um,
wow.
so if you're like, yo, I'm drinking like Coke like all day, literally just flip it to Coke Zero, even if it's like not as good in your head or like whatever. Just like try it. It's gonna take away so much sugar, which is so much body weight.
Yeah, true, true. And I mean, I wish people in the US understood that more. It's not even that they don't understand it. It's just like they understand it but they don't care.
Yeah,
And
it's
it
like I
blows
don't
my
care.
mind.
Like yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, let me go get this thing over here. It just rolls over. It's so sad. But what does working out help you with mentally the most? So what mentally does it help with the most? Yeah.
Social contact with other people. I feel like way more confident when I'm working out. Like I don't feel so tired. I just feel stronger in general, and it boosts my self confidence a lot. Self confidence is for me like needed for my job because I work as a train manager, so I see a lot of people every day. Let's say when I like check tickets and stuff. Uh, and I feel like in shape or like physically good, I would have an easier time talking to people, or like confronting them with issues and whatever. When I would feel like very tired and not in shape at all, I would be like people would notice. It's like I would stand in front of them and they would like not really care about me because I look so exhausted, or like I would lose a part of my personality because I'm that tired. And when I've like worked out, it's both good for me like to get through the day, and like other people notice like, oh, this guy is like feeling good, and then they're like automatically more interested in your hobbies and everything you've got to say, because you basically you're looking better. You're more active. You're more social. Like these are like natural. Um, it's like A, you work out. B, you feel better, and like C, people notice, and you're just more interesting to them, and you have an easier time explaining yourself, doing the things you like to do, and all of that. So it's affecting like everything in my life
Oh, that's
from the point I
awesome.
wake up till the moment I go to bed. Like, yeah,
Hell yeah. So, a lot of people are really, really rude in the music industry. Um, why do you think that is?
I don't know. I simply don't know, and I never really understood it. It's like that in a lot of businesses because that's what they see it like a music business, like the. So people are like, "Hey, look how good I am! Like, look how special I am!" And a lot of people mistake personality for like being arrogant for some reason. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, look, like I now I'm." Some people are like genuinely like super friendly, and then they get on a big label, and then they're like, "No, I'm gonna act like I'm not interested in these guys anymore because I'm bigger than them now." Like they're like, oh, look at this tiny producer messaging me. Like now that I'm on this label, like I'm more special than you. So they're gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna leave you on red, or they're gonna like not respond at all. And like you said, like there's a lot of arrogance and a lot of rude people, which I don't understand. Like everyone's starting at the same point. I understand if you're a bigger artist and you're getting a lot of mails that it's hard to get back to everyone, but at least if you do respond to them or if you do talk to people, at least like just be nice to them. It's so easy to say the same thing in a nice way and to not shatter their dreams or hopes. It takes the same amount of time. It's easy to be down to earth. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I honestly can't answer your question, like why people are so rude. It's
Okay,
like
okay.
I would say their ego gets to their head and they just feel, I don't know, like they're worth more as human beings because of their net worth or their streams that they've gathered in the past or whatever. So yeah, I think ego is the biggest factor there.
Oh, I'm gonna rate that. That's good. That was a good answer. Frick yeah. Yeah. No, it's a very hard question to even think about, to be honest with you. But it's even, I think, because I'm not in the music industry. So, from an outsider perspective, you know, I think people are
Hmm.
scared. I think people are scared shitless that like people aren't gonna like them, or like so scared to the fact that they feel like they gotta be mean to everybody and show like how
Yeah,
big their dick is and how like amazing
yeah,
they are, because they're just scared. They're like
yeah.
that they're gonna lose everything that they've gained. I mean, that's the only thing I can come up with. But
I agree, but that's like, in my opinion, a thing that gets it's the main cause would be. It's kind of ironic because I'm using it myself, and we all are. But like social media is a big factor in that. You see everyone posting their ideal life. Like people are. I think it's Drake that quoted it once. Like look at the way we live. Like people like making pictures and then posting it as they're still on the go, like later on and stuff. Like let's say you go on a holiday, you take pictures, and then later on you post it like every day a picture, acting like you're still traveling or whatever to show your wealth, to show how interesting you are. And I think Instagram and stuff like perfect female bodies, if you want to call it that way, um, and all. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like. It's the same. It's the same with the music industry. Like, there's so much fake stuff going on, and there's so much attention about like who has the most followers, and I think people are losing themselves completely in that, and everyone's scared to see what everyone else feels. They're like, oh, this person is not gonna like me. Can I post this picture? Is it good enough? Should I use that filter? It's the same with music. Like, if I post that, will people like it? Will that label like it? Will my friends like it? Will like just create music that you feel like creating. Be creative and don't just do what everyone does online to be the same thing. Um,
exactly.
because you see a lot of copy paste, and in some way you kind of have to adapt to what's popular. I feel like, for example, right now, like Future House, Slap House kind of sound like Joel Corey and stuff. It's very, very popular. So in a way, you kind of have to, like, you don't have to, but it's always good to at least implement that sound in your own tracks.
For
But
sure.
I've seen like the track like Piece of Your Heart from Medusa and stuff. It was so popular, and then you see all these rip-off tracks like being released using almost the exact same sound, and everyone doing the same thing, the same artwork style. And in my opinion, Instagram, social media, they're like the cause of it. They're like, we all have to be the same to be cool, and people
Yeah.
are losing their personality. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think people are losing their personality, but I think that people aren't even trying to understand themselves. They're not trying to find their personality. And there's so many
Mm-hmm.
people that just do what they're told, or like do whatever they need to do in order to get to a certain place, but they're not putting a piece of their character into it
Mm-hmm.
whatsoever. It blows my mind how far people actually get doing that though. And then they wonder why people get that far, okay? They get do all this bullshit, do what they're told, and then they're sad and they get depressed and they end up killing themselves because it wasn't
Yeah,
what they thought it was going to be like. And it's
exactly.
just
Yeah.
exactly my freaking it's just freaking crazy to me. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little passionate about it, but yeah.
No, no, you're right.
It's good. Oh my gosh. So another topic. So in the music industry, how important is it to have a backup job? You know, and do you have one?
Yeah, like I'm working full time as a trade manager, like I said. So
Oh yeah. Let me write that.
I work at least like 40 hours a week. Then aside of that, I make music, which is causing me to kind of give up some sleep. I'm kind of used to going on like 4 hours of sleep a night, which is in a way not healthy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
maybe working full time while you really want the music career is not ideal because you can't really go touring. You're missing out on a lot of opportunities, but at the same time, it's very hard as a beginning artist to just do music without having that backup job, like we've talked about, because royalties and basically general income from music is not that big. So it's definitely very hard if you don't have the like if you're born rich, let's call it that way. It's of course easy to be like, okay, I'm gonna do music and like whatever. Like I've got the money like as a backup already. It's easy. But if you're coming out of a situation like me and you're like starting from zero because you're forced to, it's very hard. And I do recommend keeping a job as long as you can, basically up to the point where you're like, okay, I have to drop my job to go touring and make it work. Um, I would definitely recommend it because it can help you to buy new software, new gear, new things that you need. And that itself is going to boost your music as well. So just having a job is, in my opinion, also part of working on yourself as an artist and keeping up your social life at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds exhausting, but I mean, it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be easy, and I commend you and I give you a lot of credit for doing as much as you do. Like it just sounds tiring, but you're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my struggles with it. It's not as um, how to say it. It's not only been good vibes or motivation. Like I've thought about leaving my job so many times, and in the end, I always come back to the same idea. Like, why would you leave your job? Like, it's a stable income. It's helping you do the things you love doing. But yeah, it's like a back and forth in emotions. Like, I really want to do music full time, and then like I can't do music full time because I won't have enough money, and yeah,
Uh,
it's hard to find a good balance. But
it,
yeah.
Yeah, no, it sounds really difficult, but it also you got to give yourself credit and know that, like, hey, like, say to yourself, like, hey, I am doing a good job. Hey, I'm really proud of where I've come from, and stuff. And
Hmm.
honestly, giving yourself credit for the present and like everything that you've accomplished up to this point will literally, I promise you, will help you figure out the next thing in your life so much easier.
Yeah,
So if
that's
you're
true.
having a really hard time with that balance, I really recommend doing that. It would help so much.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but hell yeah. Oh my gosh, what a great interview. I'm having such a great time.
Yeah, so am I.
Oh, that's great. Oh my gosh. So, oh my gosh. This question, I am pretty sure I mentioned that I have brain damage. So I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember that if you mentioned this in the meeting that we had before, but were you in a car accident?
I was, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I was like, let me think. Like 2 years ago, I was just driving to work, and I was like on this huge bridge. It's like, I think it's the biggest bridge in Belgium, like the longest one, the highest one, whatever. And this guy, so like me, Foxa, like I have fear of heights, or like at least like fear of falling down. I don't know why.
Gotcha.
Um, and of course, on that bridge, like it was a rainy day, there was this traffic jam, and I had to press the brake like really hard because the car in front of me was slowing down out of nowhere. So like, I hit the brake, and the guy behind me was driving quite a big car, and he was on his damn phone, so he didn't see me slowing down, and he hit me like almost full speed,
Oh
and
no.
like the back of my head like bumped my chair, and I blacked out for like a couple of seconds, and I had this serious whiplash then. So it was very scary, because I saw it in like in my mirror, like, oh damn, this car is gonna hit me, like boom.
Oh
And
my
then
god.
a couple of seconds later, like you kind of wake up in your car, like you're like, oh damn, like this actually happened. I was like on this damn bridge, like being scared of heights and everything. So it was like super scary because I had to wait there, like in the rain at the side of that bridge, like until the police came, made all the reports and stuff, and then yeah, I was out, like I couldn't go to work for like 3 weeks, but that was it. Luckily for me, like no further damage or something.
Oh,
But
holy shit. But that, I
yeah,
think the scariest part of that entire thing, because I was in a car accident as well. The scariest part is that you actually remember it. That is scary. I thank whoever the fuck, I thank my brain damage every single day
Hmm.
because I will never ever be able to remember the car accident itself. Oh my god, I feel like it's so much scarier to know what happened. Like, oh my god.
I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, it's yeah. I think it would be kind of scary to not know. I don't know. In some way, it's kind of good to let go of. Like you won't really have that much trauma if you don't really remember everything, I guess. But at the same time, it would be like some weird void, no? Like to not know what has happened, or I can imagine it being very like weird to not know the exact situation you were in, right?
Yeah, you nailed it on the head with that. Holy shit. I mean, ever since the when I got out of the hospital, the only person that wanted to know what happened to me in that accident was me. And there was nothing that for me to do that. Like somebody could tell me anything and I could believe it because I don't have anything to go off of. So oh my god, you nailed that feeling. I've always wondered, and even when I look at the police reports, it was pouring rain, but the police report doesn't say that, and so I just see a bunch of lies from
Yeah.
whichever way. And wow, like you're right, you nailed it. There is a little bit of a void of like, hey, should I remember this? But you
Yeah,
know,
exactly. Yeah.
uh, but I can't live like that because if I chose to live like that, then I'm never gonna find that out. It's not. That's just not possible anymore. So it's like, uh, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but I get what you
Yeah,
mean.
maybe it would be possible to find out in some way or whatever, but it's not worth like making yourself sick thinking about it and stuff. So I agree.
Exactly.
It's important to move on and leave it in the past.
Yeah, yeah. Holy shit. Wow, that's fucking crazy. That's awesome. No. So, what are your hobbies besides working out and producing? Do you game or do you watch movies, TV shows?
I used to game a lot. I've even wanted to be a professional gamer in the past. Because
Ooh.
so basically my parents didn't allow me to have any instruments or whatever, chase my passion in music. So I started gaming because I wasn't really social at school. I've had a hard time expressing my personality. So I started this free game called League of Legends in the past, and I've gotten like really really good at it to a point where I even started like boosting people on the website.
Wow.
um, and I've played a lot of shooter games in the past. I've played a lot of like RPGs, MMORPGs as well. And yeah, it's definitely a passion. Right now I'm even working on a video game, like on an own game, with like my roommate, who's also a music producer, but he's more of a technical guy. So he's working on the coding, on the software itself, and I'm working on like character design, because I like to draw as well. So I'm like
Oh.
working out these characters, and then together we're like doing the level design. Like I'm basically giving him ideas, and he's turning it around in like actual visuals. We're working as a team as three, so we're actually designing the video game from scratch. And right now we're at a part where like we can plug in our controller, for example, or like with mouse and keyboard, whatever we prefer. And there's already this basic ID that's like we already have a playable demo, so it's going somewhere. And
Oh my gosh.
it's combining a lot of how to say it, elements from like PS1 games, and then like let's say like with the visuals of like the quality games we know today. So it's combining like the harder, because games used to be way harder back in the days. So it's combining the serious challenge with like the visuals you can see today in like PS4, PS5 games, all of that.
Oh,
So it's
that's
definitely
cool.
something I look forward to release in the future. And I'm basically gonna make all the music for it. And then Tom,
Oh my gosh.
my roommate is
Yes.
gonna, yeah, is gonna do the level design and stuff. So yeah,
Fuck yeah, dude. That's
gaming
so
is
cool.
definitely a passion, and it's fun that I can combine it now. And yeah,
Fuck
like
yeah.
own
Oh my
game, own
gosh.
music. It's kind of, yeah, it's super fun. And I'm not necessarily doing it for my music career or something, because it's something totally different. But yeah, gaming was a big part of my life.
That's really freaking cool. I think that's cool. Have you guys come up with a name for it?
No, not yet.
Oh.
We're still focusing on the characters, the levels themselves, and the mechanics, and we really want the name to fit perfectly once everything's like done. Like we're still brainstorming, and we really want everything to be perfect and original. Yeah, so
Oh.
that's for later, I guess.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! No, I love that. Oh my gosh, I always thought it was funny because of like there was this meme of like pregnant people giving birth, and like that's a very painful process, I'm sure. And they do it,
Can
and the baby
imagine.
gets born and shit, and they're like, oh my god, now's for the hard part. We gotta name it. I'm like, holy shit! It made me laugh so hard because it's got to be like that with like making music, games. Like maybe you come up with names for your songs like after the fact. But it just depends, of course. But that's funny. I
Yeah.
have no more water. Mm, there is no more. But that's okay. But that's awesome.
Yeah, aside of gaming, I've played table tennis in the past as well.
Oh.
Um, I've played it for a couple of years, but then because of work and music, I chose to give that up. and to focus on music and my job, of course. There was like
Yeah.
no time left to even physically be present at the training sessions and everything. So yeah, I chose to let go of that hobby, sadly. I really liked it, but I like music and gaming and my job more. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. I wrote that down. I'm not gonna forget that. That's awesome. So we have one more question of the interview. I can't believe we're about to be done. That's freaking nuts because it doesn't even feel like that long.
Yeah,
But
true.
so, what is the direction that you plan to take with your music? Like, what do you plan for the future?
Basically, since I'm not exclusive anymore, I'm gonna do whatever I like, which means I'm gonna release like club tracks and like radio tracks, let's say. So like it's gonna be a blend between like poppy house music and then like heavier, like let's say festival anthems and stuff. So I'm gonna release a lot of things, a lot of genres as well. Uh, I'm planning to release on a couple of labels now, maybe even self-release at some point. We'll see if I get there or if I want to. But right now, I'm working with a couple of labels that, in my opinion, are very down to earth and very good people to work with because they're so
Oh,
easy to approach. Um, and my next track, which is actually the one I've sent over, uh,
okay.
is uh, is like uplifting, and it's combining the trendy slap house, deep house vibe with like an uplifting vocal and stuff, which is something that hasn't really been done before. It's like uplifting slap house, which is like slap house is usually a genre that has like low male vocals.
Okay.
Um, and I've tried to add a vibe like Tell Me, like the track you've played as an intro, which has
Yeah.
like a female voice and is like super uplifting and happy. So I've tried to make a combo of that, and I definitely want to make more tracks like it. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm going in the future.
Oh, fuck
I'm planning
yeah.
to collab again as well because I haven't really released a lot of collabs lately. But finally, I'm working on like two collabs with a guy that I've been wanting to work with for years, and it's finally happening. So I'm super excited
Okay.
for that, and they should release around summer. So
Oh,
yeah.
fuck yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Let me get the other one. Let me get the other song. Let's do it. This Love by Foxa coming out. Woo!
You look at me. I know I never felt this before. You here with me. It's all I need. I got this love, love, love that I'm dreaming about. I got this love, love, love. Got me singing out loud. You're gonna make me high. This love gonna end you one. I got this love, yeah. I got this love, yeah. I got this love, yeah.
Oh my god. Holy shit. Okay, you have like such a chill, but like you said, uplifting vibe to it. Like that if I'm ever like upset, like genuinely upset, like I know that would cheer me up. That was so nice to listen
That's
to.
good to hear. That's the kind of thing I want to achieve with tricks like these. So yeah.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Okay, I nailed it. Perfect. Now we are going to hop into audience questions. So
hmm
if I don't know if you have the stream open or not, but you can read them yourself if you
I
would like
could
to. Okay, cool.
wait. One. How did you come up with your name? That's kind of a funny and unique story, I think. So I work as a train manager, and in Brussels there's some foxes, and during a shift that I had, um, the train like stopped at a platform. It was like like these trains that like stop everywhere, like every small village and stuff. And then there was this like tiny platform, and there was actually a fox that was like really hurt, like at the side of the train tracks. And I actually, which is something I'm not really allowed to do, but I called for help, and I waited until like they came to take the fox to like take care of it and stuff. And I left them my phone number. I'm like, can you guys please keep me updated? Um, and then they called me back later that day to say like that it was in stable condition and that it would recover. And I was like feeling really happy, so I wanted to do something with Fox. And then I was like, like what could I do with Fox? Like make it like a second name or something. And then I was like, let's add like a letter to it. I was like, let's start with the A, like Fox. I was like, yo, I really like that. It's like short. It's like short, it's catchy. And I like looked it up to see like if anyone was using it. I was like, no. I was like, okay, like it's mine. Like I'm
Yeah.
Foxa from today on. How did it feel when Brooks recognized you? Honestly, unreal, man. Like, is this artist that I've been looking up to because he was one of the founders of the Future House genre, which was the genre that got me like my first recognition as well. And then there's this pioneer of the genre, like you could say, um, who's like answering to your message, playing your music. So how did it feel? I mean, like amazing. It's like a producer orgasm, if you want to call it that way. It's yeah, it just felt great.
Fuck yeah. No, that's awesome.
Three,
Uh,
what genres do you want to explore? Um, hmm. I've I think I've literally made everything over the last years. I've made dubstep. I've made drum and bass. I've even made like very experimental tunes. I've made hip hop beats for rappers. Um, so I've even made psytrance and stuff. And then last month I released a track that's like a remake of an OST of a PlayStation 1 game, which is like
oh,
psytrance ish. Um, so I can really think of a genre that I haven't done yet or haven't explored yet. But right now I'm actually trying to make a track which is a hybrid between future house and drum and bass. So yeah,
oh, that's cool as fuck.
I'm trying to make like a blend of something that hasn't been done yet, but it's very hard. Then
Yeah.
Chris Ward, let's see, he's asking, what's the best way to try and promote your music? Um, what I definitely don't recommend, if you're scrolling on Facebook or Instagram and you see these shady paid ads, they're like, yeah, like we boost your Spotify listeners and all of that. Like, don't ever waste your money on that, because if Spotify or SoundCloud or whatever detects that you're using these bots or stuff to boost your streams and everything, like they're gonna drop you from their algorithm completely. They're not gonna feature you on their organic playlists anymore, and you're basically ruining your chance to be like a credible artist. So never ever pay for bots or whatever. It's better to have no streams or like 50 streams than to have like 50,000 streams that aren't like genuine or legit. So never ever do that. And for the rest, make sure you work with labels that have connections with playlist curators and stuff. And I would say on SoundCloud, it's good to invest on some genuine promotion. I know like Brighter Network is a website that can actually repost to a lot of their accounts, which isn't, it's like not that expensive, and at the same time it does give you some reposts, some likes and comments from like real people and stuff, because they're actually listening to your music. And
Yeah.
it's gonna give you, it's slowly gonna help you grow as a beginning artist. And for the rest, Yeah, I would say like release with labels and people that already have connections left and right and move from there. Never really invest on these shady websites. And then let's see, Jorvidi asking, who are the most unique artists at the moment, in your opinion? Um, Let me check because I have a list. There's this guy called, I'll write it down in the Twitch chat, Glacier on Monster Cat and stuff. He's released before, and it's super super unique. Then of course Fox Stevenson, he's always coming up with super super unique things. Um, and then a friend of mine, Greg Dela, a Belgian guy, like he's made his own future house sound, and damn, like is it so unique? It's so unique and so good. Um, so definitely, I would say those three artists right now are very very good, or at least like doing their own thing in a way that no one does.
Oh fuck yeah.
Five. What are your favorite movies or shows of time? Well, Stranger Things, obviously. I have a tattoo on my arm of Stranger
Oh my.
Things, like the
Oh my
Devil Gorgon, the
god.
creature of it. Yeah, and I've made some soundtrack for season four, like one track that I flipped into like a new theme, which I have on my SoundCloud, so I could send it over if you want to have a listen to it. Uh, so yeah, Stranger Things for sure. And then I love comedy. I love comedy and horror movies. I could watch that for days. Um, so yeah.
Love that. Love that. That's awesome.
So Foxa, let me get a smooch.
Ooh, give the smooch. I love that. Oh my
Chris
gosh.
Ward, how long have you been producing for? Let me count. It must be like 6 or 7 years, I think. Or yes, 7 years now. This is my seventh year producing.
Oh wow.
If
Very
you could
cool.
have lunch with one person, alive or dead, who would it be? Ooh, that's actually a really, really tough question because it can only be one. Um, this is gonna sound stupid, but I wish I could basically just have a chat with any musical genius that I've always looked up to, that has taken their own life, like let's say Avicii or like Chester from Linkin Park. Basically, maybe to give them the talk that they needed to feel better, or yeah, not give up hope or whatever, or at least to understand what was going on in their head. So yeah, if I could have one um, lunch with one person, I would definitely yeah pick them.
Aw, that's awesome.
What genre did you start producing in? Deep house. Back in no, actually, it's not true. Progressive house. Like Swedish house mafia style, but like really, really bad. uh, like me calling that Swedish house mafia style would be like bringing them in discredit. So I tried making progressive house back in the days, but it was very,
Oh,
very bad, of course. Which makes sense. Like first tracks, you know. But
yeah.
progressive house and deep house, and then future house. Okay, let's see. Germany, dream collab. Hmm, dream collab. Fox Stevenson is a dream collab. Just Fox, you know, and another like really, really unique guy. And who else? Oh, I would say Don Diablo, but I would actually mention Camp Kubrick instead, which is his '80s project that Don Diablo launched a couple of months ago, and it's basically Don Diablo who teamed up with this amazing vocalist from the Netherlands, and like creating an '80s tune with them would be like a complete dream. So dream collab Camp Kubrick, 100%.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Fuck yeah.
And then another question: do you have a bucket list? What's in it? Um, I try to live in the moment, so I don't really make bucket lists or something, and I just go with the flow, or yeah, it's easier for me to not get disappointed or to stay motivated when I just take things from day to day and move from there. So the bucket list, not really, but I do have certain things that I really want to do in life. Like I want to play a big international festival. I have like a big crowd in front of me. I want to go traveling, stuff like that.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome. Have you been to America?
No, not yet. That's on my bucket list.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I hope you make it. You better visit Florida. What's up? Well, Florida's just crazy as shit. So I don't know if you can handle crazy as shit, but if you can, I recommend it.
Mhm. Chris Ward asking, do you think it's really important to try and learn as much about music theory to help you with producing your tracks? Personally, I've never taken music theory, like up to today. I've never been to any music school. I've never really, I can't even read notes, like, no joke. So I'm just messing around with it until it sounds right. And I'm just doing my own thing. I feel like music theory can actually limit your freedom of thinking, and as long as you're like working in key and your track makes sense, I think it's easier. I think it's actually easier. I've heard it from a lot of people. If you don't just focus on the theory itself, but just try to be unique and yeah, like focus on improve your hearing. It doesn't really make sense improving your hearing, but
Yeah.
try to. That's not what I meant. This
Yeah.
is language barrier. You know, it's like
Yeah.
try to feel the music and like feel if it's right or not, and ask other producers like, yo, what do you think of it? And sometimes they'll be like, yo, like this is not in key, or it doesn't really sound well, like pitch that up, pitch that down, or whatever. And at first, you might not always hear it because you don't have the music theory background, but it's gonna definitely allow you to be more open and to have a way more personal take on everything, to be very, very creative.
Yeah.
But like
That's
mixing and mastering, I've learned that from a couple of people that I know. I've been to a few studios. I've checked like how they do it, and it's just messing around with it until you know what's right for tracks. Like deep house is a certain like layering to it. Like mixing wise, mastering wise, you're like, okay, if I EQ this that way, like panning, there's so much to it, and it's just practice, like trial and error. Even sometimes you're like, okay, again, this has to be in that frequency. I have to lower the volume of this and that, and it might not always end up how you want it. So I recommend uh, how to say it, trying to listen to your track on both your monitors, just your PC without any speakers, connected to it on your phone, in your car, wherever you can, to see if it sounds right on all platforms. I mean, on all devices. And from there, like, try to find a balanced mix that sounds good, like on phone and car and everything. So it's really, really personal, like mixing and mastering. Like, it's just trial and error, I'd say.
yeah.
Giorvity. What's your favorite kind of food? Italian. No
Oh,
doubt.
hell
Like
yeah. Hell yeah.
pizza, pasta, let's go, and spicy food as well.
Fuck yeah.
Like, no doubt, Italian. Germany again. Any thoughts of cryptocurrency? um, no. I don't know. I'm not. I'm personally not really keeping myself busy with crypto, or like investing in that kind of stuff. I know a few friends of mine actually spend so much time on it every day. Like they're just watching these graphs 24/7.
Oh my
They've
god.
bought so many cryptos, and I know a guy who's actually invested a couple of thousand euros in it, and now like he's living his best life in Spain. Like he doesn't have a single worry in life anymore. So I
Oh
mean,
wow.
it's I don't know. It's not for me, but I can imagine if you're like super busy with cryptos that it could actually have a crazy good outcome, but at the same time it's risky. So I do
Yeah.
recommend if you want to get in cryptos, well, like be busy with it 24/7 because it's dangerous. But it's yeah, I don't know. It has a lot of risk, but it is the future, sadly. In my opinion,
Yeah.
sadly. It's personal.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Cat,
get you. I get you.
cats or dogs, both, man. Like both. I
Aw.
love cats. I love dogs. It doesn't matter. I love animals. I personally always want for cats till now, but I've always wanted a husky like so badly. So at some
Aw.
point, I'm definitely gonna get one.
That's so
Um,
cute.
yeah. Kiss or diss? Just wondering. Kiss, kiss or diss or piss? I don't know. Oh, my fault. Wrong chat.
Oh, it's funny. Oh
Uh,
my gosh.
Jorvidi, crypto is interesting space. It is, but do you watch any unique YouTubers? I've always watched Markiplier since the beginning, and I still love his videos up to today. He's so entertaining, so positive, and he's so down to earth. I've met him once at a game convention, and he's the kind of guy like even now that he's got like millions of followers, every single fan that's like shouting his name or like asking for a picture with him, it's like making him emotional. Like he's literally trying to get every fan satisfied.
Oh my
And he's
god.
so genuine and so I think he's like the most amazing celebrity that I've ever met in my life. Like even if you take like music, gaming, whatever community, like Markiplier is like my number one favorite human being. I think.
Yeah, that's awesome. Was there any?
What's the craziest thing you've ever done for a girl that you can say on
That's.
stream? Probably taken my bike for like kilometers and kilometers and kilometers. Like I think like a 6 hour bicycle drive one way and a 6 hour bicycle drive back to be there for like 2 hours or something because of this
Aw.
COVID restriction and whatever. Like you were only allowed in lockdown to go outside. Um, for like 12 hours and you were only allowed to stay in your city, but you were still allowed to do sports. So I just took my bicycle and I drove like halfway through Belgium and then halfway through Belgium back in the evening. That's, yeah.
Oh my god, that's crazy. Did it work
Do you
out?
create a lot? Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Do you create a lot of your own presets that you use in your tracks? Yeah, I do. I do have a lot of own presets, especially for the future house genre, and then like slap house and stuff. I really like the presets that already exist, but then again, you're very limited in sound, and you can't really be that creative. That's why I try to add uplifting vocals or add some personality by adding some fills and some other stuff. But it really depends on the genre. Let's say future house and pop. I love to make and use my own presets. But like slap house and stuff, I like to use the presets that already exist.
Heck yeah.
Weirdest experience in your life so far? Having a nightmare which goes on loop. Um,
Oh my god.
I once I once had a nightmare that I was actually in the bed that I was sleeping in was as a kid, and I woke up in the bed, like in my nightmare. I woke up, you know,
Yeah.
And my mom was like downstairs, like 2 floors below me, screaming like, "Hey, come down for breakfast," you know. And
Yeah.
I like went downstairs, and my mom was like standing with her back towards me. And when I tried to face her, like she turned around, and it was some kind of demon or something. I was like, "Holy shit!" So then I woke up, but it was in the same dream again. But of course, I didn't know. Like I'm like waking up, and then there's like my mom screaming like, "Hey, come downstairs!" You know, like the same fucking scenario all over. And she was always like, so I went downstairs, but she was already standing at the stairs, but it was still this demon thing, you know? And every time that I woke up in the bed, like it was like coming closer to me up to a point where I like opened my eyes in the dream and it was like right in front of me. And at that point, I woke up like in that same bed, but like in real life. And I was like scared to death because I was like caught in this fucking loop
Oh,
that I
that's scary
couldn't
as shit.
escape from. So that was super, super scary. And it was definitely the weirdest experience ever up to
Oh,
today. Like, if I think of it, like, ugh, I'm still like shivering. It's, ugh.
oh my god, I bet that's scary as shit. Well,
Yeah.
fuck that. Yeah.
Did you like school or was it just boring? I like the studying aspects. But for the rest, like I said, my parents pushed me in a certain direction, so I had to study Latin, and it wasn't really my cup of tea. So I couldn't really focus. I actually got bullied as well because I didn't really have a personality back then. So school was very, very hard for me. But yeah, for me, life really started after school. Um, when I was 18, got a job and finally managed to do music like every single day. So yeah, school wasn't really the best time for me.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, at least you didn't peak in high school or something, or I don't know what you guys would call that, but yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, if that's it for all of the questions, I just want to say thank you so much, Foxa, for doing this with me, and I appreciate it. It will be up on YouTube um, after Giorgity is done editing it, so we'll keep you posted on that as well. But it really does mean a lot.
Yeah, same. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the great talk and have a great day for you, I guess. I guess it's like
Yeah,
noon there. Yeah.
yeah. And you have a great night, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Have a great one, my
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Smooches.
Marshall.
Yes, well, bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.